Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, and Batch Streets Batch, alright. Gonna be completely honest with you, yeah? We're already scraping the barrel with the intros, and we've got 6 episodes left, so I'm genuinely panicking about how bad it's gonna get. That being said, episode 10 of the Bad Batch is now here, and in this video we're going to be breaking down the plot, Easter eggs, things you missed, and also giving our theories on what could be happening next time. Full spoilers ahead, so if you haven't had a chance to check out the show, then say Jedi Night Night, as we're spoiling it all. Smash the thumbs up button if you're the Obi-Wan left who still likes my puns, and make sure you subscribe for brand new breakdowns every day. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the Bad Batch episode 10. Okay, so last episode we watched as Cad Bane made his way across the galaxy with his prisoner Omega. She didn't know what Todo until Todo popped up, and she tricked him into letting her free so that she could escape. Cad had been contracted to track down Omega so that her cells could be used for the Kaminoans to create more clones. As it turned out, her DNA structure was one of the strongest strains of Fett left outside of her brother Boba. However, there was a sort of split amongst the Kaminoans, and we learned that Fennec Shand had too been hired to keep her safe. Cad headed to Boravio and shoutouts Ryan Airy, who translated the Arbesh letters that showed that a critical issue had happened in the structures that made the Kaminoans flee in escape pods. Now here Shand and Bane went head to head, and the former somewhat explained to Omega exactly why she was wanted. Luckily, Omega managed to reach out to the Batch, and she was saved by them. There were a couple of big mysteries left up in the air, and though I know a lot of you think that Snoke clones were in the containers, I do think that these were simply Kaminoans. I don't have the name of the person on the video as I didn't screenshot it, but someone did point out that they as a species have been reduced to manufacturing each other in order to live, so give yourself a pat on the back if that was you. And in fact, you know what, everyone give themselves a pat on the back for sitting through my crap videos for 10 weeks. Now as for episode 10, this entry is called Common Ground, and it has the Batch having their ideologies challenged as they realise that not everything is as black and white as a stormtrooper's uniform. As George Lucas said, there are heroes on both sides. Which is there though? Anyway, we pick up on Raxus, or Raxus Secundus to give it its full name. This is a planet that was often contested throughout the Clone Wars, and it's clear that this is carried over to the Galactic Empire as the Imperials are angered that they've remained in the Confederacy of Independent Planets. During the Clone Wars, Dooku set up these systems as ones that would be free from the corrupt Republic, and originally Geonosis was their first capital. However, after it fell, Raxus took its place, and it became a collective for those that didn't want to join the Republic. Now there's several characters here, including Senator Avi Singh and his droid, which you may recognise as being an RA-7 model. There's also some Pantorans amongst the crowd, as well as a Rodian, which is the same species as Greedo. Singh's hands are tied, and this symbolically is shown by Singh clasping his hands together. However, he opens them up in an act of defiance against the Imperials and refuses to join their ranks. He sees it as his duty to act in the best interests of Raxus, and there's a lot of similarities here between the Nazi occupation of Europe, which led to their forces invading countries throughout the Second World War. They had the numbers and the might, and here we see this echoed in the Imperials, who circle the square with ATTEs. GS8 reaches out for help, and we cut to Omega and Wrecker eating some Mantel Mix, the pair's favourite snack that has bonded them throughout the series. They're cautious about taking jobs when there's at least 2 bounty hunters gunning for Omega, and reluctantly they get one from Sid that involves rescuing Singh. Sid ends up babysitting Omega, but knowing how much she charges, you should have used Princess Superstar instead. Now that's a joke, kids, cause in the 2000s there was a rapper called Princess Superstar that had a song about being a bad babysitter. Go listen to it, yeah, it'll really open your eyes. Now Omega clearly feels that she's been left behind, and she's immediately forced into child labour to clean the toilets. I bet Sid didn't pay her for this, and in the bar we can once more see the digital sabacc machine, which mimics the main card game in the Star Wars universe. Cut to the Batch flying to Raxus, and they land outside the capital city of Raxalon, which just so happens to be the home of their Senate. Things have really changed for the Batch, as when they were enlisted as clone troopers, they were fighting against separatists, but now due to their shifting ideologies, they're aiding members of the group. They always thought they'd reach the planet one day, but that they'd be going as an army instead of as mercenaries. Echo clearly has issues working for the separatists, and this is made worse by the fact they learn that their contact is a droid. In the Star Wars universe, droids are very much viewed as the peasant class that aren't allowed in bars or certain parts of society. Even last week, Todo was hinting that Cad Bane was cruel to him, and Rise of Skywalker had D.O. clearly being a droid that was abused. The Mandalorian hated them as well, and you can see why Echo is cautious. But come on guys, yeah, they're lovely. Now cut back to Sid's bar, and we see the Ithorian and Weequay once more playing holo chess. I love how these guys have slowly become background characters that are almost set dressing for the place, and every time we see them, they get in more and more trouble. A fight breaks out between them this time, and Sid herself causes some issues when she pretty much says that Omega is about as useful as this channel. I think Omega kind of feels a bit let down by the batch, and even though they had her best interests at heart, she sees herself as being capable enough to handle things on her own. Cut back to Raxus, and GS8 leads the batch into the capital. There's very similar vibes here to the occupation of Naboo from the Phantom Menace, and they scan the area before taking the stealth approach. I love how you can see the clear contrast in colours between their uniforms and the clones now, as they are in black and white, showcasing how they view the galaxy, whereas the batches are grey, showing that they view the galaxy as being shades of that. This idea of colour has been used throughout the saga, often with Luke, who started off wearing white, then grey, before going fully to black, highlighting his character progression. The group sneak in, and interestingly, Hunter gives orders that include Omega, showing that he subliminally views her as being part of the team, even though he left her behind. We cut to the bar and see Omega has the same comms device that Luke had in A New Hope, and Sid plays holo chess very, very badly. Now, here you can also see some pipes, pipe things, and these also showed up in the bar in A New Hope. Interestingly, they were reused for the head of IG-88, one of the most fearsome bounty hunters in the galaxy. Sid sees a little opportunity to make some money in Omega, and it basically becomes a mix of Rain Man and the Queen Amidala's gambit. Now in Sing's wine cellar, the Imperials, led by Captain Bragg, send in an interrogation droid, which we also see in A New Hope. Using stun blasts, the batch manage to rescue him, but unfortunately the alarm is sounded and they have to fight their way out of there. I love how GSA carries the priceless vase the entire time, and it shows they still hold their independence very, very highly. It leads to by far one of the best action scenes in the show, and no matter how many transports and troops the imps throw at them, they manage to escape with a little help of a certain boss. After jacking an ATTE, they take the subterranean passage and manage to escape through the tunnels of the city. On the outskirts, they make it to the ship, but Sing realizes that he's abandoning his people. Clearly he wrestles with this, but after Echo says, "Live to fight another day," it changes his mind. Now this is something that Hardcase said when sacrificing himself in the episode Plan of Descent, and I still miss him so much. Now back on Ord Mantell, Omega and Sid run the holo chess ring, and she beats a Pantoran, making her the most feared holo chess player in the galaxy. This angers Hunter a bit as he wanted her to keep a low profile, but she earned enough to pay off the debt that they owed Sid. Sid clearly believed in her even though Hunter didn't, and it shows him that she is more than he thinks. They play one more match for whether she'll set out on missions or not, and spoiler alert, we know that Hunter got wrecked. Anyway, another great episode, and probably one of the stronger ones in the series so far, as it had a lot going on with it in terms of metaphor and the group wrestling with their opposing ideologies. Also, I just want to apologise if my voice has sounded terrible this video. I've got very bad hay fever at the moment, so sorry if I sound like I've just woken up, which I also have. Now as for my thoughts on the show, so far I've really enjoyed how they've slowly brought everything together to make it crystal clear why the Empire could take over. At the moment the rebellion isn't anywhere near assembled, and through the batch we've seen how everything is just off in its own little faction. The Imperials are the only thing that are organised right now, and then blindsiding the Jedi in order to wipe them out left a big power vacuum that they've been able to step into and seize control from. The fact that the batch have been going from person to person shows why it was so easy for the Empire to rule, because they were the only ones who were organised. Now what we've had in the series are free people who are going to fight day to day in order to survive, versus people like Crosshair who handed over their freedom in order to have a role in society and probably things more comfortable. Though he does get shot at a lot. Now he's very much disposable, but either way I love how the series is tackling themes like this. The Bad Batch has been great so far, and to be 10 episodes deep with this level of quality in an animated property shows how much of a boss that Filoni is. Another excellent entry, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next one. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure you comment below and let me know. As a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into a prize draw on the 30th of July, in which we pick 3 random comments to win an MCU box set of your choice. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the episode. Now if you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our breakdown of Loki episode 4, which will be linked on screen right now. We've gone over the entire thing from top to bottom, so it's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more. With that out of the way, thank you for sticking through the video. I've been Paul, I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.